Good morning, fourth grade. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Today we're starting a new lesson, converting temperatures in Fahrenheit and Celsius. So let's see where we can find our notes here. So go open your Google Classroom here, your Math 5 Accelerated, click on your classwork, scroll down here to Chapter 11. Click on Chapter 11 and you will see here converting our temperature notes. So we're going to start on that right now. So let's see what we have right here. So we're going to start by looking at how do we convert temperatures in Fahrenheit and Celsius. As you know, we've talked about before, the metric system uses our Celsius scales to measure our temperatures. And in the United States, we use, which is the customary system, we use the Fahrenheit scale to measure our temperatures here. So first of all, let's see how are we going to go from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Now, what this gives you is a little bit of a background and understanding how the formula came about when converting your Fahrenheit to Celsius. So if we take a look here, it says water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And this has a difference of 100 degrees. So 100 minus our 0 is 100, okay? Now let's talk about our Fahrenheit now. It says water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a difference of 180 degrees. I took 212 minus your 32 degrees, which gave me a difference of 180 degrees here. Now, therefore, each degree of the Fahrenheit scale is equal to 100 over 180. Or if we reduce this down, that gives us 5 over 9, or 5/9 degrees on the Celsius scale. So we use that information in order to come up with our formula. So the formula you are going to be using, you will need a calculator for this. So make sure you have a calculator. So if you take a look here, it says the formula that we use to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius is Celsius degrees equals 5/9 times the quantity, whatever the Fahrenheit the degree is, minus 32. Now, some of you may not be as skilled in using a calculator with all this information, so we're going to break it down so it's easier for you. Follow these steps, because if you try just using this formula and you do not use your parentheses on your calculator, you will get it wrong. So here, we're going to make it as easy as we can. So using a calculator to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, follow the steps. Okay, use these following steps. Okay, so our example that we're going to use here says, okay, take our 77 degrees Fahrenheit. We're saying, what is that equal to in degrees Celsius? So first step says, subtract 32 from degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to take our 77 minus our 32 equals 45 degrees. Next step, multiply that answer by 5. So I take my 45 degrees and then I multiply that times 5, and that gives me 125. Then I take that amount, that 225, I should say, and divide that by 9. So I divide that by 9, and that gives me 25 degrees Celsius. If I need to, if it gives me any type of a decimal at all, definitely round that to the nearest degree if necessary. So what we can say here now is 77 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 25 degrees Celsius. So let's try some practice ones here. Okay, so here's what we do first. It first says, okay, we are starting with 59 degrees Fahrenheit. We want to know what that is in Celsius. So our first job here is according to our steps here. It says take your 59 and subtract 32 from it. So 59 minus your 32. When you do that on your calculator, you should get 27 degrees. Okay, so we got our 27 degrees here. Okay, next step says, okay, take that answer. So we take our answer here, 27 degrees, and it says multiply that times 5. So we multiply that times 5. So do that on your calculator, and you should get 135 degrees. Very good. Then, final step. Take that answer there, 135 degrees, okay? And divide that by 9. So when you divide 135 divided by 9, that gives you 15 degrees Celsius. So your answer here is 15 degrees Celsius. So 59 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 15 degrees Celsius. So let's try this next one together. Once again, so I have 194 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to how many degrees Celsius? So if we take a look here, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our 194 and we're going to subtract 32 from it. Okay? So we do that first. And basically, guys, what I'm doing there is what's inside the parentheses first. That's what I do first. Your 194 minus your 32. So 194 minus 32 is 162 degrees. Okay. Then I take my 162 degrees. Next step says, hey, multiply that times 5. So we multiply that times 5, which gives me 810 degrees. Final step, take that 110 degrees, plug that into your calculator, and it says divide that by 9. So when I divide that by 9, that gives me 90 degrees Celsius. Put my C right there. So 90 degrees Celsius. Very good there. Okay. So here's what I want you to do now. I want you to try the next two on your own. So pause the video here and try them on your own. Okay, let's see how you did here. So you should have subtracted your 113 minus your 32, and with that you should have got your 81. Okay? Then after you got your 81, you should have multiplied that times 5 and you would have gotten 405. And then finally, when you divided 405 by 9, that should have gave you 45 degrees Celsius. So this here should be 45. Very good. Good job, guys. Next one. Okay, you took your 131 and you subtracted 32 from that, which gave you 99 degrees. Okay. Then after that, you took your 99 and you multiplied that times 5. And you should have got 495. And then your final step, as you know here, all you needed to do was divide by 9. And when you divided that by 9, you got your final answer of 55 degrees Celsius. So the answer for this one is 55. Very good there. So hopefully you guys understand what's happening here. Okay, if you made any mistakes, make sure you make those corrections. You try the problems again. And now we're going to move on. Next step here is, hey, how do we go from Celsius to Fahrenheit? Well, we're going to use sort of the same operations and the numbers a little bit. We're going to switch some stuff around. It says, when converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, we are using the reciprocal of 5/9. Remember, the reciprocal, we flip that fraction there. So we're now going to use 9 over 5. And this time, instead of subtracting 32, we're going to be adding 32, but we're going to be doing everything in a different order here. So as you take a look here, here is the formula that we are using to figure out the Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 times our degree in Celsius. Then at the end, we add our 32. So let's see how we're going to do this one right here. So if we take a look here, it says, using a calculator to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, use the following steps. Okay, 25 degrees Celsius is equal to how many degrees Fahrenheit? So it says first, multiply the Celsius by 9. So we go, okay, here's 25, which is what we had, our original Celsius degrees, and we are going to multiply that times 9. We multiply that times 9, that gives us 225 degrees. We're now going to take that answer there, and we're going to divide by 5. So we divide by 5 here, 225 divided by 5 is 45 degrees. So once we get that answer, we're going to take that answer and we're going to add 32 to it, which gives us 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is our final answer. So, but if we were to come up with any type of a decimal, make sure we round that to the nearest degree if necessary. So we know that 25 degrees Celsius is equal to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's try a couple here on our own now. So here we go. It says here, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 65 degrees Celsius is equal to how many degrees Fahrenheit? So now we're going from Celsius to Fahrenheit. First thing it says to do is take our 65, and it says we are going to multiply that times 9. Okay? So 65 times 9 is 585 degrees here, 585 degrees. Then it says, okay, take that 585 here, and it says divide it by 5. So we divide that by 5. And if we divide that by 5, that gives us 117 degrees there. And then the final thing to do there is add 32 degrees to it. So 117 plus 32 is going to equal our 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So our answer is 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So it says here, 65 degrees Celsius is equal to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot. Okay, so now let's take a look and see what we have here. We have 800 degrees Celsius is equal to what degrees Fahrenheit? So if we just continue along, that gives us 80. First thing we do is we multiply that times our 9, which you know that should be 720. So we have our 720 degrees here. There we go. Now, we take that 720 degrees, and we are going to divide that by 5. So if we divide that by 5, this gives us 144 degrees. And then the final thing we do, we take our 144 degrees and we add 32 degrees to that, which gives us 176 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's our answer there, 176. Make that like a 7 more, 176 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I want you to try the next two. Hit pause on the video and you can try the next two. Okay, guys, let's see how you did. Let's see what we got here now. Let's clear this here. Okay, and as you know, the first thing you should have done was you should have multiplied our 75 times 9. 75 times 9. Very good. So let's see what we got here. 75 times 9 is 675 degrees there. And then we did our 675 divided by 5. And that equaled 135. 135. Now, as you know, the last and final step we do, we add our 32 to that. Add the 32 to this here. And this will equal 167 degrees Fahrenheit. So our final answer here is 167 degrees Fahrenheit. Very good, very good. Last one here. Let's see what you're going to do with this one. Let's see how you did. First thing you did, you took your 60 times your 9. So 60 times your 9, which should equal your 540. Very good. Okay, from there, hopefully you did 540 divided by 5. And you got that. And when you divided that by 5, you should have got 108. And then finally, you had your 108, and you added 32 to it. 32. And with that being said, you should have got a final answer of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Very good. So actually 140 degrees Fahrenheit is our answer here. So 60 degrees Celsius is equal to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Hopefully you guys had some fun doing that. Make sure you use a calculator when solving all this, and hopefully you guys learned a lot. If you are still unsure of some things, go back and rewatch the video. The homework is also up on Google Classroom, so make sure you download that, print that out, work on it, and also check your work. We'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.